The harmonized draft constitution as provided by the committee of experts was quite a robust draft in terms of at least areas that are more concerned us. That is the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights was a very comprehensive, provision, and it more or less goes in tandem with international, the emerging regime of Bill of Rights, in the sense that it tends to provide for the broadest realization of all the rights that every human person has, and also provided a very effective mechanism for enforcement. That's the Human Rights Commission, which was given constitutional powers and authority towards the realization of the Bill of Rights. Therefore, in that, it appeared that the Kenyan people had gained quite some substantial power, in terms of the fact that when you look at the various areas of constitution, it is the Bill of Rights area that essentially talks about the Kenyan people. The rest about relationships with governments and government departments or institutions. And it is the Bill of Rights that essentially secures the rights and freedoms of all of the Kenyan people. And for us as a commission, we were extremely elated by the very broad provisions of the Bill of Rights. Yes, there were a bit of contradictions when it came to the issue of the executive. That we needed to provide a very clear, center of authority with respect to who is the chief executive of the country. But that is not to mean that we didn't require to present effective mechanisms towards ensuring that power was limited. And that way we needed also to have a semblance of devolved structures of government to allow people at the local level to be able to manage their affairs, to manage their resources, and to be able to have some kind of development that is managed and initiated by the people themselves on the ground. What would have made then the attainment of a new constitution would have essentially been where there was a fundamental disagreement or point of departure by the political class. It appears by and large the political class might be having a consensus, despite the fact that we've seen media reports that certain parties might be opting out of the Naivasha Accord or the Naivasha Agreement. It is still reasonable to expect that we still might be able to beat up a form of a political consensus where it is able to take into consideration the diverse interests of the various political actors. Unfortunately, that's what partly the Constitution has been reduced to in terms of the constitution-making process. But I do trust once that is realized, then we will have a very broad consensus within all the political actors to be able to realize a new constitution. Kenya needs an honest, selfless nationalist to lead this country. A leader who is both a manager and a politician, who's able to balance the delicacies of a nation that has the kinds of diversities that they are. So it must be a leader who is not tribal, who's not ethnicized government, a person who literally breaks from the past. It must be a person who brings a total paradigm shift in terms of leadership, and that paradigm shift cannot come if there's no generational change, because it's generations of every successive transformation that usher in a new era of values and paradigms. And I think this independence generation is now obsolete. They cannot just be running the country on the values of independence or their perception that they liberated us 45 years or 48 years ago. We need a new dispensation that moves us to a more a democratic, just and equitable government. I don't think Kenya needs one particular person to be the leader of the country. We need a constellation of young Kenyans who can, by and large, be leaders in the different industries, in the economics, in politics, in law, in science. We need that kind of a generational overhaul where people can now lead the various industries or the various facets of our nation. Therefore, the leadership I look forward into being part of, if hopefully in years to come, is a collegiate where we have collective responsibility, where we are a group of young Kenyans, individually and collectively having similar shared values and leading a certain onslaught towards ensuring that we better the lives of the generations to come in this country.